Good afternoon, my YouTubers. This is your cameraman and guide, Daniel Drewski, here to witness of the car show going on Laurel Boulevard in Pottsville, Pennsylvania. And today's date is August 13, 2022, and the weather out there is about 79, 80 degrees, long as it's not too hot anymore. Yep. Last year, I made a video of the car show around Pottsville, Pennsylvania. They're going to start with this first car. This model has got to be from the 2000s. I never can tell with the RV. Nastane, I can't pronounce the name. All I know is Ford, Honda, and Toyota. Or even Jeep. Hey, what's this was made? This is made in 2013. That's about 21 years, 9 years ago. And look at this. They have a racing car toy over there. This is going to be from 2020. And this was from 2001. It was made around the 9/11 attack era of the World Trade Center. And look at this. That's a Bumblebee car they used in the TV show Transformers in the 1980s. And there was a Bumblebee movie in 2019. 1987. I thought it was made around 1984. That's when Bumblebee was there. One of the Transformers characters. Started in 1984 after the G.I. Joe series started it. Hey, look at this. Hope it's made in Toyota or something. 1986 Ford Ranger. I thought it was in 78 model. I seen it in the 1986 movie of At Close Range. Set place in 78 with Christopher Walken and Sean Penn. That's what the movie takes place. And this blue car over there was made in 1982, 40 years old. It was made by Crossfire in Jetson, something like that. I can't pronounce it. The year when my parents were actually married in Las Vegas. And look at this. This made in 1968, made over 50 years ago. Steve McQueen drove this car in Bullet in 1968 film in San Francisco area.
How are you, Frank? I'm doing good. I'm good. We're going to have some questions that
2001. This just made 2011. Yep. This is made 2003.
Yeah, listen over.
1971, made over 50 years ago. And this white one was made made in 1986. 2012. And look at this nostalgia car from 1956. Oldsmotor Summer 88 Mobile Holiday. Yep. This is the Mustang model in 1956. And that's when I used to go to the one of those driving restaurants when waitresses wear like roller skates when they serve you food, like one of those driving restaurants. Sonic has that too nowadays. This is in 72. This model was made the year when The Godfather came out, around 50 years ago. This is made in 4, nearly 18 years. And look at this model, made in 2016 by the Chevy the Corvette. And look at this Ford. It was made in 1950, made 72 years ago. The year when Sunset Boulevard and A Lady Eve was made in that era, in that year. And television came at the time. This is 1967 Kruger. Yeah. And look at this. Something I've seen in one of those racing derbies in the 60s. Made in 62. I think they used that in the Disney's Love Bug in 69 when they crashed in the car into each other in one of those races. Yeah, it's a pretty good Disney film with Dean Jones and David Tomlinson. 1970, look at that. Got a guitar. And it's going to have to be about 2 or 3 parts of this video. Yeah. Made in 1994. 28 years. And look at the batteries. They did a good job on it. Here's 1968 Mustang. And here's 1986 Chevy, yep. The year when the New York Mets won the World Series. 1995, 27 years ago. As for me, in that year, I was into the video stores. And look at this. 1923 Ford bucket. Like one of those kids' cars they use in the 40s and 50s. Back in the days of the silent era. 1929. The beginning of the talkie movies. The talkie era, yep. And they made this very good in one of those original parts. Maybe they used it as kids' cards in the 1950s. When people used to go steady. 1986 Chevrolet. Yeah. There's a Chevy Corvette in 1976. 2002, May 20 years ago, when I turned 18 in the summer of that year, when DVDs were getting more popular. 2011, it's about 11 years ago. And look at this. If you're cartoon fans, look at this. Heckle and Jekyll. One of the Terry Toons characters from the 1940s and 50s. And there's 1971. And look at this car, folks. Chevrolet 1979. The year when the movie tapes were coming out on video cassette of these titles. When VCRs were getting popular. And look at this car over there, folks. One of those office cars or something. I can't tell just what year is it. This got to be made in the present time, around the 2020s. And look at this car over there, folks. It's got to be made in the 50s. Maybe in the late 60s. And look at this 1953. It must be one of those hot rod cars. That was around that year when Marilyn Monroe became a star, when she did the Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. The same movie she did the Diamonds Are Lady's Best Friend with the pink dress. This is the 2013 model, 9 years ago model. And look at this. 2017, it's 5 years ago. The same year when my brother was married to Erica in Yonkers, New York. And look at this. That look like a... There's the band over there.
Sure.
And they do got like a lot of food trucks and vendors. Hopefully my camera makes it. Excuse me. This was made in 1968. And this car was made in 72. Yep. This was made in, there's a Chevrolet made in 20. The year when the whole when the whole world started of COVID-19. That's pretty bad. And there's 1938 Ford. Like, I think it's 1930, made over 90 years ago, during like the Great Depression era. 1986, look at that.
That looks exactly like Joe.
1941 vehicle. This vehicle was made a year when the Japs bombed Pearl Harbor. That's how we entered to World War II since then. There's 1948 Ford Deluxe. Yep, the same year that we lost Babe Ruth, one of the greatest Yankee player of all times, dies of throat cancer. This vehicle was made in 1939, Ford couple, in red, and it was made the same year when Gone with the Wind and Wizard of Oz was released in theaters. And there's 2007 Dodge, yep, 15 years ago, when I was in the day hab at the time, in Queens, New York. 2017 Chevy. (2010) There's 2000. It was made the year when it started of the millennium and a new century and a new decade. That's when DVDs were getting popular. 2013 BMW. There's the fire trucks over there parked. They didn't want nobody be blocking the traffic. We got more cars to show you if we make it through this camera length. 2012. Made 10 years ago. The year that we had a Sandy in New York. When I was living there. This 2016. Yeah. There's 2011 Blvd or something like that. In red, it looks pretty hot. And here's 2021, made last year, when it's still under the COVID-19 restriction rules. And here's 1964 Corvette, made a year when Mary Poppins was released in theaters, and so is My Fair Lady. And look at this. May 2015, 7 years ago. This is 2019. It was made a year when my family and I were moving to Pennsylvania, and around later in that year, when we were saying goodbye to New York, hello Pennsylvania. Look at this, 1957 Ford. 1957, that's a pretty good year. I was hoping for 1959. The year when The Bridge on the River Kwai was the best picture. There's 1988. And look at this car, powerful car. This vehicle was made 1970. Yep. There's the Jeep, made in 2005. And look at this red model. 1967 Corvette. Uh-oh, look at this. And look at this circus freak vehicle over there. Horrible. You gotta be kidding me. It's like going into the haunted house at the carnival or something like that. And this is May 2005. The year I was graduating from high school. 1991. Chevrolet, yep. I was only 6-7 years old. At the time, I saw like watching the Laurel show when I was 6-7 years old on the Comedy Central. And there's a 1979 Bug over there. I think I seen that in the Disney's Freaky Friday in 1977 with Jodie Foster and Barbara Harris. This car was in the movie. 1976 Blvd. Macarena. 1971 Buick. 1969 Chevy. Yep. The year when Easy Rider was just one of the great pictures of that year. 1986 Ford Ranger. Look at that character. I look like a monkey. Hey, Bulldog. They selling cars over there? There's 1950 Ford. Yep. Made around that time when television became a new medium for people's entertainments. 1957 GMC pickup. Yep. And here's in 1993. I was only about 8-9 years old in 1993. There's 1965 vehicle. Yep. I think it's 1955. I'm not that sure. It is 55 Chevrolet. The year when my dad was born. And here's 1930 Ford Mustang. Yep. Made during the days of the talkie pictures and got into the world's greatest the Depression since then. 1957 Chevrolet. There's the Victory Garage, 1958. Year when Gigi was the best picture of the year.
Motorcycle plate on it. Look at those license plates.
There's 2020 was made a year when COVID-19 started it. And this is 1995 Ford. My dad had Ford at the time. 1971 Chevrolet. 1993 Ford. 1964 Chevrolet. 1964 Ford. And what's this one over there? 1970. Around those times they had like 8-track players in one of those in those vehicles. Hey, what's this big wagon? 1986 Silverado. This is made in 75. It's pretty big. They used it in one of the Police Academy movies. 1968 GMC. 1968 Chevy. 2010 Chevy. 1972 Buick. Here's a motorcycle from 2008, 14 years ago. That was the year when we lost like Shay. They changed it to City Field since then. There's 1971 Pinip Rock. '67 Dodge. 1979 Ford pickup. I don't know what year is this vehicle was made. It's got to be in the 60s. 1966 Ford. And look at this nostalgically. This vehicle was 1929 Chevy. Yep. Getting out of the silent era into the talkies and getting out of the Roaring 20s into the early 30s. 1976. And look at this vehicle. 1987 Chevy. This is 1957 Chevy. And look at this. 1941 Chevy Deluxe. 1996 Ford. And look at this little the crushed car over there. I can't tell what year is it. This is 1952 Nash, the year when Gene Kelly did Singing in the Rain in theaters. 1951. That was made the same year when Gene Kelly did his performance in American in Paris, the best picture of 51. And look at this vehicle. It's got to be in 77 or something. The year when Star Wars and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, one of the two great movies were made in that year. Can't tell about this one. We're almost near the end. 1986, Dodge. And here's two more cars. 1971, Chevy, when the French Connection was made in that year. And here's the final one, 2011. So I guess that wraps it up for the first half of the video. I'll see you a little bit later. Until then, try to subscribe or comment if you like this video with showing you some old cars. Goodbye, folks, and hopefully I'll make hopefully another video. Bye.